Okay, now we're recording. So now I have this moved over to this other laptop. So hopefully what we can get done then is as follows. Okay. Again, just please bear with me. I'm trying to get this loaded as soon as possible. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, there we go. I finally found it and got it transferred. Okay. All right. So by knowing the name of these animals will certainly help. What is this one? If it's at this, please make a mental note of what some of these animals are, because some of these may be on your quiz tomorrow. 2 of them. But yes. Okay, so Monday then. Okay, we'll be back on Monday, Tuesday? Monday, okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, could be any two. Okay, so what animal is this? So if you are sitting out in the crowd and you really don't know what some of these animals are, I highly, highly suggest that we kind of pay attention to this, right? Okay, because some of you can probably ramble these off just like so. It's probably easier for some than others. Okay, who is this? Petrolakosaurus. Okay, so what is it that makes this a reptilian animal? It's got scales. You can certainly see them there. What else does it have on its feet? Okay, how many legs does it have? What does that make it? Tetrapod. When we went through any one of those, who was confused? Okay, if your hand isn't up, I am under the presumption that you understand this. Is that a correct presumption? Okay, so what is that? It's a hynerpeton. Okay, now don't think it's going to be you have to list every one of these characteristics. A hynerpeton, looking at this picture, what would be a very vague definition of what type of animal that is? Why is it an amphibian? Okay, so web feet, that's true. So you can actually see it's tied to water because you can see some water in the background. But what is significant about the skin of this animal as opposed to this one? This is scaly. This, however, is what? Is it a tetrapod? Is it a tetrapod? It is. Okay? Okay. So one of the things we said in class, this is probably the earliest ancestor, okay, of top carnivores. Who would that possibly? Who are some top modern carnivores? Lions, tigers. Okay, all of those are top carnivores that you could, if you had enough time, if you're smarter than myself, could trace its lineage back to possibly this. I don't know why you would do that. You could, I would certainly think, because I want to speculate, is adaptative radiation one of your vocab terms? Adaptive radiation. Do you have your vocab out by chance?
Say again?
Do you have your vocab out by chance?
I'm just writing the definition.
Can someone please look at adaptive radiation? It is. So what is the definition of adaptative radiation?
The diversification of a group of organisms into forms filling different ecological
niches, okay? So what that means is a common ancestor would spread out into different types of animals that would be successful for that. That is adaptative radiation. Okay? This is what? Something. Chasmatosaur, okay? What type of animal would that be?
Aquatic.
It's aquatic. Is it amphibian or reptilian? It's reptilian. Why would that be? Okay. Not only that, look at these, and certainly those. Okay. Amphibians, for the most part, don't have teeth. Some of the early ones did, like that labyrinthodont, I think is what it was, that had jumped out of the water and tried to grab that gorgonopsid, said, it's probably not a good fight to pick. Some of the very earliest amphibians had them, but it's more so a reptilian characteristic. Okay. Hycoethes. Probably the most important aspect of this, it was the first what? First vertebrate. Since it's the first vertebrate, it's also the what first type of this animal? Fish. That's right. Okay. Do we need to go over any of these? Okay, so how about there's more after this. Some of those aspects we said from prior to this slide. This one, or this one. So don't worry about this one. This one would be on the quiz. That's a little too difficult for right now. So we could ask something about the Hycoethes. We could ask something about the Gorgonopsid. Then you pick out of the three. Is the last one going to be the Dictodon, the Petrolakosaurus, or the Hynerpeton? I'm hearing all three. I hear Dictodon seems to be the most common. Okay. So, with that, what is the most common characteristic you can think is true about all Dictodons? No. Okay, it can burrow into the ground. So if you're going to do that, are you going to be the size of a bear and burrow into the ground? You could if you hibernate, but that hole is probably there already. Okay? You're not going to expand your energy just to dig a hole just to go down in there, because that's going to expand a lot of energy. You'd be susceptible to a lot of other aspects as an animal. So if it's a burrowing animal, it's a small one. Okay? So then what is the most common characteristic you could say about this that we said in class today? It's also a therapsid, but it's the earliest ancestor for what? For top predators that are carnivores. Okay? Let's just hope that I can remember this. Okay? And then we said, what's the most significant aspect about this? The first vertebrate, which means it's the first fish. Okay? I'm afraid if I keep going, am I going to confuse you by putting a name to the face? Is it no, let's keep going, or yes, you will confuse me? Okay? Then we'll just, like I said, we'll just put a name to the face. Who's this? Cephalaspus. Okay? I wouldn't expect that you are going to get each and every one of these right. I wouldn't expect. That's why we're going over this. Okay? Who's this? Starts with an E. It's an Adaptosaurus. Okay? What is that? That's a Meganeura. Okay? This one? Brontoscorpial. Okay? Oh, there's just a gap in there. I don't know why. This is an Anomalocaris. Okay? What's this? It starts with an E as well. Euparkeria. Okay? That is a really big fish. I can't remember what they said. 2 ton? That's a big fish. Okay? That's Hyneria. And obviously that's going to be a big fish because what's in its mouth? A shark. Yeah, that's a pretty big fish. Okay? Now, the clue here is look at this, and these are different size. That means there's 2 different types of teeth. It's a Dimetrodon. Okay? So I don't know why you say Dictodon and Dimetrodon and not, I can see why you'd make the correlation of 2 of something. That would make sense. And that way it's just its little tusks on a Dictodon. That I don't know. Okay? Oh, that's it. go over this again? Okay. Should I just not go in order, just start mixing them up?
Yeah. Sure.
Yes. What's that? This one. That one. Chasmatosaur.
Evolution. Wow. No, that's not. This one.
Petrolakosaurus.
Megalodon.
Obviously, I'm just doing this all at random. Inerpatin. Okay. Okay. This is from a different edition. That's why some of the content looks a little different. So there again, the Dictodon, the only thing I can come up with why it's called that is because it has those two tusks in there. Okay, that'd be the only reason. Now, that has nothing to do with predation. Not really even anything to do with that of protecting itself. It's probably more so of one of the three things we call selective speciation. That's what we talk about in zoology, to where three things happen when it comes to, let's say, of a female picking a male. Could it be social structuring? Could be migration patterns, or it could be that of even mating rituals. So maybe a female's picking one out that has the longest tusks, because if it has a long tusk, it's probably a more healthy animal. So sometimes that's why some of these has nothing to do with evolution, but maybe more so of species selection. Okay, we did that one. We did that one. Another E. It's an Adaptosaurus. Okay. Oddly enough, okay, when you look at this animal, and I'd be led to believe that since this would be in the drop folder and you could go amongst the different slides, you could probably put your fingers on there and enlarge it. So what I'm thinking here is if you kind of use your imagination and enlarge this, what's true about the teeth that you see in there? Yeah, and they're uniform. Okay? The reason that that's important is because that is something that is totally different than this one. Okay? Now these could be you could say these are closely related. They're tetrapods. But this here, what did the video call them? Sailbacks. Okay? So, but for some reason, there was a niche that was opened up that allowed these animals to diverge. It was probably the Adaptosaurus that was first. These came later because this has changed. These are not uniform in size. Okay? I was trying to explain something as far as what a niche is in a different class. Sometimes that happens with success in either music or athletics as well. Okay? So let's say next volleyball season, there are 3 niches that are going to be open. Why would we say 3? There's 3 seniors that are going to graduate. So underclassmen that are volleyball players, okay? If you're on the JV, it's your opportunity to move into the varsity position. Would that make sense? 3 opportunities to move yourself up into that type of an example. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I think we've covered them all. Okay. But the last thing that I want to do, and this again is for my benefit, as we did for tomorrow, this one, I don't know if I'm even spelling these right, but you get the idea. If I'm not mistaken, this is what we had picked, right? Hycoethes, Dictodon, and Gorgonopsid.
It's not Hycoethes, it was Petrolakosaurus.
No, it wasn't. It was Hycoethes.
Okay? See, this is why we're going over this. Was it Petrolakosaurus or was it this one?
Dictodon,
It was Hycoethes.
and then
No, because it's the first
Cephalaspus.
fit. Yeah. No, it was Hycoethes
not
because it was the first.
I do remember saying the first fish, first vertebrate.
And then
Okay.
Gorgonopsid.
All right. So I'm glad we went over that. At least, again, this is for my own benefit. All right, that's all I have. Tomorrow is your second vocabulary evaluation. These 3. If you see something that says, this was the first vertebrate, what are you going to answer? Okay, get the idea?
Vestigial structure was also
That is correct. Vestigial structure. Yep.
in the last.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Left outside. Left outside. Middle. Right side. Is that to her or to the class? Okay. All right, that's all I have. We'll catch up to you perhaps next time.